meeting to order. Steve, would you take the minutes?
I am taking the minutes.
Ah, very good, very good. You had a good prior set.
Okay, thank you.
Very thorough, very thorough. Robin is also on, if I look at my screen, although she's on mute.
Oh, good.
She's on mute, but
Oh, tell her to unmute herself.
Robin, would you unmute yourself? Well, anyhow, maybe she will. Anyway.
Mia, can you unmute Robin, please?
She's able to unmute herself. She has to choose to do it, unfortunately.
No, the host can unmute it.
No, ma'am. All I can do is ask her to unmute it.
Okay, thank you.
She hasn't been muted by me. She's self-muted.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Self-muted.
Okay, so
for him.
do I hear, is there any discussion regarding the minutes of the December 16 meeting?
No. I move
hit-
that we accept them as sent.
And seconds,
Second.
Second.
Pat seconds it, Patty seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Okay,
Abstaining.
I'd like to point out one interesting fact, though, Will. Our last meeting was on Beethoven's birthday, and this meeting is on Mozart's birthday.
Oh,
how
auspicious. That's great.
good old Wolfgang,
Hey,
yeah.
listen, the next one's on Haydn's birthday, we get the entire classical period.
That means we have harmony. Harmony.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, so those were approved. Let's go on to Suzanne, the director's report.
Okay, we are basically status quo with the Friday meals program. We are scheduling AARP tax people beginning in late February, early March. And the process will be the same as it was in July, which is you bring your paperwork to the door and then the volunteers collect it and they call you to come back when it's ready to be signed. So that is that once we find the exact date of start, we will be taking reservations for tax appointments. Vaccines, I'll put this in the official part of the meeting. I just learned from the health agent that vaccines on Cape Cod are only 975 doses per week distributed by the state. There are 5 regional clinics already open. This week's 975 will be distributed in Falmouth at that regional clinic. And when they get sufficient vaccine, there are going to be 2 sub-regional clinics on the Outer Cape, one in Truro at Pilgrim Springs parking lot and one in Eastham at Little Bay. So they're both on seashore land. And
Can I add something?
Sure.
There's one in Stop and Shop.
Yeah, but they're out of vaccine. Stop and Shop has no vaccine. I went on that website this morning and waited my hour and 5 minutes to get on the website and put in my zip code. And they said, sorry, no vaccination appointments available within 30 miles of your zip code.
Yeah, but that's because we went on yesterday and which was not supposed to be and signed up. So I think they were out of control with their timing. I mean, we have an appointment, but.
Well, I think when they say there's no appointments, it means that they've maxed out their available vaccine with appointments.
Yes, I agree.
Right. So I would say everybody has to sit tight, hope that the feds let loose with a little more vaccine. And the good thing about the county run, which will be the sub-regional clinics, they're going to do it with a sign up, an online sign up that does not require having an email address, so that people who need to sign up can call here or the health office and someone could go through that, make their appointment, and then they're already in the system. You don't have to bring anything to the vaccination site when you have the appointment.
Suzanne, can I mention one thing while you're on this subject?
Sure.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon or evening, I guess, I listened to President Biden's presentation, and also Cuomo, the mayor, the governor of New York, and they're both the same. They increasing immediately the dosage deliveries by 16%. And on top of that, they are giving each state a 3-month schedule of availability. So that will allow, one, for they will get more vaccine starting immediately. And secondly, with the 3 months, they can plan ahead for 3 months. So I'll have a rolling 3 months, and this thing should start to really speed up. I thought it was sort of interesting, his presentation.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. I think that this is the first week and everybody's trying to jump on at the same time, which creates computer crashes and results in hundreds of phone calls to medical offices and senior centers and health offices. So my recommendation to people is to sit tight, continue to wear your mask, wash your hands, and give it a week or so to shake down until we get more vaccine doses in hand.
Okay, will do.
And that is the end of my report.
End of your report, okay. Evelyn, would you like to report on the Friends, if there's anything to report?
There really is not anything to report. We are meeting in about 2 weeks. Am I right, folks? And you know, we're solvent, and we're looking ahead. We need to look ahead, but right now, because of everything being restricted, we haven't been able to do too much. So I'll have a report for our next meeting. That's a little more information.
Thank you.
All righty, and then the next item on the agenda is new business and the goals of the board and the ideas that were sent in. I'm not sure how folks want to handle this. I assume we've all read what's been submitted. I guess, Suzanne, Steve's comments about exercise, I thought were interesting. And is there any, what are the constraints we're under in terms of an exercise track and space for inside for exercise, weights, and that sort of thing?
Well, I don't see us having room for a weight room right now. The outside, the plans are that I have, that I was asked to remove from the funding from the ATM last year because we were streamlining the warrant, is for a half-mile track that extends from north-south, western end of my building, from the driveway all around the community garden, up into the woods and around, and back to our patio. And it would be graded and for handicap accessibility, so it would be no more than a 1 in 12 grade at any one point. Be wide enough for 2 people with walkers or whatever to walk side by side, and it would provide a protected space for people to walk in the winter, because everybody that walks loves the pier, but it's a little bit chilly in February when the wind's out of the north. And Melissa is very excited. She said when this happens and when we reopen, she can do an outdoor exercise based on that track as well. So I would say nothing's going to happen until the pandemic is resolved. I don't think the town has much appetite for planning projects. Right now we're in survival mode.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine a weight room without an employee to supervise it. And I don't have that. If it's decided, I don't know where we would put it. But anyway, that's a larger cost really, because it's an ongoing employee to supervise and appointments and gym time. And at this point, that's not even under consideration.
Okay.
Evelyn?
About that. I understand from people I know in Wellfleet that they go to the Provincetown COA and there are machines up there and in their large room. And I wondered if you had seen that. I haven't seen it, but maybe we should take a road trip one of these days.
I when they reopen, yeah, right now they're still locked down.
Yeah. But I don't know if you've seen that, Suzanne.
No, I have personal aesthetic issues with the chairs all being visible. I don't know how I'd feel about exercise equipment just being left in there. And then there's always moving parts to exercise equipment. And when we're not here and there's a meeting in there, people can be fiddling with them. And I don't know what the liability would be.
Well, you can lock down exercise equipment. They all have locks on them.
It's just so ugly though.
Look, ugly, but the point is that, we're trying to attract some younger people. The only gym in the area, and I didn't know about P-Town, but the only gym is Willie's, which is awful. I mean, if anybody's spent any time there, it's dirty, it's screwed up. The woman who runs it is a maniac,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
It's
she's written up in the
disgustingly
local
dirty.
paper all the time.
Uh-huh.
So the idea of having a modest amount, a couple of treadmills, and maybe an elliptical machine, and a weight machine or two, it might attract some younger people who are interested in doing that. Now, look, if we can't fit it in, we can't fit it in. But
Well,
you know what? Can I? Steve, I think this is a great idea, and especially for attracting younger people. What about the space that was used by Sea Babies? That's empty now, isn't it?
No, it's got the
Or is there a
election
hope
equipment in there. It's got election equipment in there, and we're going to move our durable medical equipment. That was originally our storage room, and we gave it to town, gave it to Sea Babies. So
All right.
now, if it snows or it's lousy and rainy, and somebody wants a wheelchair, a commode, a walker, or whatever, we have to go out in the rain and the snow and unlock the shed, bring it back in, wait for them to pick it up. It would be so much nicer if we can keep an eye on our equipment, make sure it's clean and functioning, and we know who takes what. It is storage right now.
Is there any way to expand the shed?
No, those sheds are too small.
What do you want to expand the
but-
shed for exercise?
Yeah.
No,
Be kind of
No.
dark and cold out there.
no, no.
I don't think that's practical. I don't think anybody is, I think we need, if you want to have a gym, I really think we need an addition on the building.
Yep. I agree.
Not a huge addition. I'm not saying that, but that would have to be looked into. But I think that's a goal that as you put together your rebranding package, I would think that once you are settled on your goals, it would be a good thing to send it in writing to the select board so that they have it, they've received it, they've read what we want. I know the chair is against it because he wants a community center. But you could always propose that they do a campus thing. We have 3.5 acres up the hill. They can build a community center up the hill and we can have a campus.
Look, I just wrote that down as a long-term thing. I knew it was not something that's going to happen instantaneously. But if we're thinking long-term and trying to attract younger people and filling a need, it's a lot easier to build a small addition on the building than create a whole community center, and if we're looking for younger people in the 50s, we're in effect creating a community center for a good hunk of the population. So just a long-term thought. I didn't mean this to be something to be instantaneous.
Well, in municipal government, Steve, nothing is instantaneous.
Yeah, right.
So it's got a 3-year minimum. You think about it, and then you get the plans approved, and then the 3rd year you get funding, and then they build it. So it's a
that was my
process.
thought, exactly.
Yeah.
That if we raised it, and maybe someone thought it was a good idea on the township board, that they could go and maybe get some thoughts started about actually doing it. But
And one way of doing it is in June, we're required to do our capital budget 10-year plan. So we could, or you could figure out with staff assistance, figure out what you want, potential cost, and put that plan in the capital budget. If you want to build, let's say, a 200 square foot extension for exercise purposes, it's like $400 a square foot for municipal construction and design. So, you could do the math and just put that in the capital plan. At least they see it every year when they check the 10-year plan, and you can go in and, let's say it's 5 years out, gets pushed 5 years out because that's what they do. You can go in and change the dollar amount to keep it updated so that you're not, when they finally approve it, you're not short money. So that would be something to get it out there, would be put it in the capital improvement plan.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then June, then it's every June, and it can be added to through the year, but I would like to just lay it out for them, as it's time to spend some money here.
I think that's a really good idea. I think we should recommend that we do that. Yeah.
Suzanne, would that be something that should be planned with the recreation department too?
No, because I don't want it to appear that we're hosting high school kids and older 20-somethings exclusively. I want this to be focused on the AARP crowd, shall I say, 50 and up. Though if you build a gym and it's built with town money, you will have teenagers in there.
Yeah.
And that means you have to have staff on evenings and weekends if you give gym time to people. And then you have to decide whether you're going to let just Wellfleet residents in there, or if somebody has their friend with them, can they bring their friend from Eastham? And then there's how long can people stay in the gym once they have an appointment? Just there's logistical things that have to be decided before you open the doors.
Well, Suzanne, I got, in sort of a humorous note, one way to keep the kids down is don't get any weights over 20 pounds. They want to all build up great bulk.
Hey, Wilson, I tell you, make that 10 pounds.
Yeah, right. 10 pounds. 5 pounds.
Yeah, 5 pounds though.
And if we all end up going, those kids don't want to exercise.
Yeah, right.
with a bunch of old farts like us.
That's exactly right. You're not going to get a bunch of kids with
we could have the gym open 7 to 5 and not be open weekends or evenings. That would
one thought I would have if we actually did this, and I know it's a long-term thing, you might be able to get volunteers to staff the thing. It's not that hard to do. You stand around, and there are all gyms have time limits on machines. Usually it's anywhere from 15 minutes to a half an hour. So you do the stuff that's normal. Plus, I'll tell you what happens after it operates. It starts setting a rhythm of its own. People come at different times and things like that. So I think if you could actually get it built, it could work. There's some tinkering here and there, but of course the big issue is, can we get the money to build it? So
right, the money to build it. And I know when Harwich Community Center was built, they put in a weight room, and we're going to staff it with volunteers, and that blew up in less than a year, and they hired a full-time attendant.
All right, okay. I mean, that's
so
possible.
I don't know if it's going to happen here, but that's the only instance I know of a weight room that's associated with a senior center and a recreation center.
So I have got a question, Suzanne. You said a little ways back that someone objected, wants to build a community center, but now we're calling this an adult community center.
Well, Michael DeVasto objected because we're calling it a community center, and he doesn't want us to call it a community center because he wants a freestanding community center at some point.
Well, but the name is changed, right?
Yeah, he lost.
The name's changed. He was outvoted 4-1.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's moot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but by the way, we in Wellfleet can't build any municipal building that's under $7 million. So that's a given to how our town government runs.
Well, considering this building here, they've lost their mind since 2003, because this building I'm sitting in now was $1 million, including the grant funding.
Wow.
So anyway, it's not impossible, but I would recommend first steps is to figure out what square footage. Though I don't think it would cost $7 million for an addition because we don't not have to put any plumbing in there. It could just, you know. But I would think $400 a square foot would be a reasonable estimate of costs.
Okay.
That's about $80,000, which is not crazy.
And then the cost of the
But is
equipment.
10 by
That's not
20
bad
big
at
enough
all.
also, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even
To buy the
know
equipment.
what square footage we're going to need. That was, it could be 175,000 by the time you figure how much space. Like I have another the fire station has exercise equipment in their on their lower level in their meeting room.
Mhm.
And they're just really too
didn't know
close
that.
together. They're not for the public, they're for just the staff.
Yeah.
Paid for with taxpayer dollars, but just for the
Of course.
staff.
But that's okay, they serve us.
You know, it's fine, but I don't want
They,
to put it in a place that's not conducive. I want it to be user appropriate when we get the machines in there.
I would venture to guess that Melissa Shantz would be really happy to have some machines like that too, and maybe some spin bikes, because I think she could utilize that too with seniors. And once again, classwork could be
Yep.
more diversified for maybe a 55, 60-year-old group that would want a little bit more
Mhm.
intensive instruction. And once again, it brings in a lot of people, and then they see what other programs are offered. And, you know, I think it just develops a lot of support and love for that
Yeah,
programs in the
you
building
know, having
itself.
just gone through a little event in my life, you know, exercise is such an important thing. And treadmills and stationary bikes, even if you don't put an elliptical, which is a little, yeah, it's a good way, especially in bad weather, but anyway, a good way to exercise without killing yourself. You know, you could do it at your own pace and things like that. And I think it would be a great addition to the town.
Well, I think that another cost to the addition would be the cost of the equipment, which I have
Yeah,
no
I
idea.
said the
how much-
equipment is not cheap.
No, and it shouldn't be. You should get the
Yeah,
best that's
right.
out there, so it's durable.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that would be a good thing to figure out that dollar amount, and so I can put it in my capital improvement plan in June.
Okay.
June. So that gives us a couple months to. One of you want to investigate the cost of exercise equipment?
I'll be happy to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will. I'll check on what it would cost per. You know, a couple of different kinds of equipment.
Right, and also, Steve, when you are checking, if you're talking to a human being, ask them what kind of square footage they recommend for each
Okay.
machine. Okay?
Yeah, so I think it should be formal, and Steve should be, you know, assigned the task.
Yeah,
of-
I'm
of-
perfectly happy to do
costing
it.
Take him up on it.
Yeah. No, I
Absolutely, I'm in.
I volunteer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more thing, that would be a project, you know, raising money for the equipment. That would be wonderful for the Friends, I think,
Yeah, yep.
when we get to that point.
I mean, I don't know about the Friends, but I would not be unhappy to put a label, a sign, whatever, on a piece of equipment donated by.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, maybe each of the banks would like to do a treadmill,
Yeah,
something,
that's
you know, I
true,
mean,
yeah.
that's a
Well, that's where the
possibility.
Friends could help to go solicit some money from.
Right.
these-
Maybe the Friends could just do matching funds. If someone donates up to X amount of dollars, the Friends can match it.
Mhm.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not spending the Friends' money, but it makes it more conducive for people to
No,
know
I
they're
agree.
doubling their money.
And it's nice to have a tangible project.
Oh yeah, like the van originally.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Okay, that sounds good. So Steve, you've got your marching orders. All right, let me see, who else do we have? Brian, do you want to go over your submission?
Well,
Or,
it's a sort of blindingly obvious thing that actually a couple of colleagues have mentioned, that is solicit the interest of the AARP community as to what their interests are, in order to be able to tailor programs to attract them. So
Is that, would you want to do a survey?
Well, that was one suggestion. I remember Carol a couple of years ago did a Survey Monkey. You
Yeah.
remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I remember that, yep.
But
I like
there may-
getting
they-
the Potter or even the independent. Independent might be very interested in helping us with that.
I
It,
bet they would. And if
it-
we were doing a
it-
survey, it could be left out in public spaces too, like the libraries and that, well, when they open, and the
Yeah.
post office for
The
people to
post
pick up and fill out and mail in. So it would alleviate having to do something online that might be tricky for some people.
Right, and then you'll need someone to transcribe the hard copy information into SurveyMonkey.
Yeah.
Which is not, it's
Absolutely.
just tedious, it's not that difficult.
Yeah, no, it's so important though to choose what we do, because you really want to tailor that to what people want, not just what we think, but what actually
Yeah.
people do want. And if
So-
you get the survey response from people that are more 50, 60, then it gives us a little bit more of a picture
Right.
too.
Right, and we can cull those addresses from the town street census,
Yeah.
because we can sort it by age.
Okay.
Um,
Could I say one more? Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's the wrong time.
the, I think that what we're waiting for is the end of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So we
Right.
can access these people and they can get their hard copies, and they're actually going in and out of places more simply than they are now. Because I know a lot of people won't pick up a hard copy of anything because somebody else may have touched it.
Right, yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
And that's probably a wise decision. I mean, I'm not criticizing, I'm just observing.
You could go out and they wave too.
Oh, absolutely, you'll go out in the wave. We can put a whole page in there. If you, Laura, do you have a copy, or do you all have a copy of the survey that was done a number of years ago by the COA to see what people
I
were
do not
interested
know.
in?
No,
I will dig that out and send it to Will, and he
Yeah.
can just distribute it. The overwhelming response is what people wanted more trips.
Mm.
So
Right.
we scheduled a
Yeah,
trip and
but that
nobody
was a
signed up
number-
because they wanted free trips.
Yeah.
So I think that when we are offering like a list of options, what would you like to see more of at the Wellfleet Senior Center? Very specific that there'll be a cost attached for a fee. This for a fee. You know, I think that we have to be really clear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they forgot that it costs money to hire the bus and the driver and all the other stuff that goes with a trip. So,
Well, it was unfortunate, but I don't see anybody going on a bus trip in the next year or two anyway. So,
oh, no, no.
and then there was the one guy who thought he'd like to have mud wrestling. He thought he was great.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Remember that.
Oh, spice in
What
the
a good
pot.
idea.
that might be interesting now.
Yeah, well, you could put a mud wrestling pit in the gym.
Then you'd have to build a pool outside so we can clean off after.
Oh,
we
I'd like an
wrestle.
inside pool. Are you kidding
Oh,
me?
me
I would
too.
like
I
an
second that.
inside pool.
Heated pool.
That would be fabulous.
Exactly, with handicapped access. So you could do
That's right.
water exercises.
That's right, exactly. That would be really good.
Okay, Laura's and Peg and Diane somewhat have the same
No,
ideas.
Patty.
Patty,
I had
So
this-
I need some clarity here. Are we going to decide to send out a survey?
well, I think one needs to get drafted first,
yes.
and then we can. Then let's take.
Well,
There's
then
no
we
need
have
to
to
send
do
it out
that.
right now. It's too far away.
No,
If
but then
someone-
we have to design a survey.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
right.
saying. And Laura and I think Peg and whoever else, but
Patty.
you and what's that?
It was me, Patty.
So,
Yeah.
Peg and Patty.
so whoever wants to join that group to draft a survey, can I see a show of hands?
I'll help with that.
I'm
Okay.
glad-
Okay,
I'm
so I
glad to
have.
help.
So I
If
have
I
three.
survive, huh? I'm glad to help eventually.
So, Laura, why don't can you head that group up anyway?
I'd be delighted to.
because it's great.
Thank you.
That's what I like to see, you know.
There you go. My pleasure.
Okay. No, I think it's great. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. I just had a thought. I apologize. We, being the town, just got a decision from town council that subcommittees are also considered subject to the open meeting law. So you have to post and record any of the meetings of your subcommittee.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
really, give me a break.
That's, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, can we
So
get
what I
around
would
it by
recommend,
not calling it a subcommittee?
Yeah, let's not call it a committee, just say we volunteers.
there will be
No.
someone who's against the project and that will say, when did they meet? When did they decide this?
Yeah.
Where are the minutes? So what I would recommend is,
Yeah, I think you're
next
right.
time you
Yeah.
have a meeting, we extend it by half an hour and let the subcommittee continue on the last part of the meeting.
Yeah.
And that way, you post it both at the
Oh,
same
smart.
time, two parts of, the meeting for the COA board, and you only have to come to one meeting.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
Then we
that's
just
super.
killed two birds with one stone. Yeah,
Right.
that's a good idea, Suzanne.
All right.
That's easy to do.
Is that okay
Uh,
with you, Laura?
Yeah.
Whoops.
All right.
And
Yes,
the
you asking
other
me?
piece is, any member of the subcommittee can send information to her fellow members, but you can't make a decision except at a meeting, a scheduled meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, because you certainly wouldn't want Jude Ahern to be against what you're doing.
Geez,
Uh,
no.
And find out that you didn't comply with the open meeting law.
Right.
You,
Yeah.
you'll all find yourselves in jail, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll get a shot then.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get the vaccine if we end up in jail. Good idea.
Yeah.
Well,
Not
it's
in
jail
New York
will have
State.
exercise equipment.
So anyway, do I have any more comments upon this part of the agenda?
Just,
I-
Will, it's
Evelyn.
first of all, I apologize to everyone that I didn't send anything in. And the only thing I'd like to add, and I'm happy to do that in writing after the meeting as, information only, is the goal of branding the community center to make it appealing. And I was trying to get ideas around that. And because how do we communicate what this is? And, I'm happy to flesh it out, and I just apologize. I don't know, I've got COVID brain or something. So
Join the group.
Yeah.
Proud.
Yeah.
No, I think
I
we
won't
should
criticize.
more cultural events, because I think that crowd likes it, like writers and films and performances of some kind.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, because I think Evelyn, your comment also goes to the old business on the agenda, the logo
okay.
etc. Is so where do we stand with that? Is there or is that done?
Well, I think, Lillian, unfortunately, we got a little sidetracked because of my health situation. But I'll tell you what, I'll talk to her and see, and maybe I'll send an email or she'll send an email out to everybody as to where that stands. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
But I think we have some focus on cultural programming.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. I have a voice. One thing that I would point out, being a longtime person at the COA, is there's a lot of cultural things we've offered in the past and people don't come. So we need to revise these things as, I'm not saying they won't work, but it's nice to say, let's have this program, that, and this, and we have had this for a long time, and we might get 3 or 4 people. So, once we get established, then I think.
Well, you're
maybe things will
appealing
be
to
different.
a different age group, so you don't know what their interests may be different.
Mhm.
Well, I don't think it's a lack of interest. I think it's just motivation to get somewhere, but I might be wrong. I don't know.
Can I just add?
Laura,
Yeah, I just wanted to add something because Evelyn and I guess it's 18 months ago, we met with a number of interested people that
Right.
were wanting to have new and different things presented. They were, some of them around my age, some of them younger, some of them older, but they were looking for opportunities in the senior center that were having a community potluck. You know, of some with, you know, somebody, a couple of instruments, maybe some meditation class, but they were looking for things that might be outside the regular hours at the senior or the community center. It will be open when it's open, like between 5 and 7 or 5 and 8, when, you know, if you're working, you're not going to be at 2 o'clock at a concert, you know, at the community center. So it would be great if we could, you know, I don't know what the survey will bring out, but to include, at least to start when the building reopens, to maybe institute like a community potluck on the off season for just local young, not necessarily families, but you know, families or people are still working, but it's a chance for them to get together. Because I think a number of local people in that age group don't utilize Preservation Hall as much because some of the classes there and the opportunities can be expensive and they don't have the resources for that. But they're looking for a place to gather in the off season. So a potluck, music, a storytelling, I don't know, it might be just something to think about. And once people start coming into the building, I think then they're more willing to participate in other things like the cultural events, which I think would be wonderful. So just a thought.
Good.
okay, does anyone else? Oh, let's pick if that's it, let's set a time for the next meeting.
Okay.
Now, I don't mind a meeting in
Brian,
February.
whose birthday is coming up?
No, but do we really need to meet every month? I mean, I've got nothing else to do, so I'll be happy to share it. So it's not
nice
like
to
I'm.
see all of you.
And I'd like to see you all, so that's fine. But I'm just wondering if, you know, really
Maybe
not
March.
given the state of we all find ourselves in. I don't see a need to meet until March, but I'll be happy to be outvoted on that if
No, I think that
you
makes
all
sense.
disagree.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I do
I
too.
agree. Good.
Yeah, because I mean, we're not going to hear anything different about the vaccine availability or anything like that until the state
Susan,
and county get their act together.
Suzanne, all right, should we make that a motion?
Yes, I think that would be really good. And then who will?
So yeah, I'll
If you just
move that-
notify the town clerk that we will have no meeting in February, but it'll be March. Third
Okay.
Wednesday is the 17th. Want to
17th
have it
of
on St.
March.
Patrick's Day?
Patty's
St.
Day.
Patrick's Day.
So
Wow.
I should notify the town clerk of that.
Right, because if it's a
Okay.
regularly scheduled meeting and your information on the website does say
Third Wednesday.
monthly. So
Yeah.
I think that
Okay.
would be good to notify her. Whether or not she puts it up or not, that's up to her, but I think it would be a good plan.
Okay.
All right,
So,
so I'll make a motion. I'll
What-
make a motion that our next meeting will be March 17th.
Yeah, I second.
At 10 o'clock.
Hang on one
Yeah.
second. I'm checking my calendar before I stick my foot in it.
I'd like to see that.
Some days I'd like to jump up and down on top of it. So there you go.
Okay, so we
March
all.
I
in
have a
favor of
9
that?
a.m. appointment in Orleans that morning. So
Yeah.
can we make it 11 instead of 10?
That's fine with me.
11 is fine, sure.
Okay. All right.
Okay with me.
All right, I'll change the motion that we meet March 17th at 11 a.m.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Put your aye. Opposed? All right. And
Well, can I
that's-
ask just a quick question before you close it up?
Oh,
Would you
sure.
like us to start on that survey now?
Oh, yeah.
Is that something?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
if you,
because I will put that on the agenda, and
Okay.
I will also add on the agenda that after we all get off, that, oh, can you let me know also who your group's going to be? Yeah,
well,
I
I
know.
think it's Sarah, Patty and I, the three of us, unless
How
anybody else
about
wants to
Peg?
join.
I'm
I
happy
will
to
add-
help.
I think Robin,
Robin.
Okay, great. The more the
So
better.
just let me know who it all is. Because
All right, and-
might you ask Peg? I guess I'm asking.
I did
Okay.
volunteer, but I guess you didn't see me.
Oh, we've got you down. Yes, thank you for saying something, Diane. That's
all
great.
right.
More the better. The more the better. Now,
Okay.
Suzanne's going to send something to you, an old copy. You'll send it to all of us then, so we can look through it? It was
Once I
an old-
find it, or I can get
Okay.
it to you, Laura, and you can distribute. Which would you?
Perfect, that's
That's more
good. Yeah,
direct. That way we
absolutely.
won't.
Send it
Will
right to
won't
me.
have to do one more.
Sounds
piece.
good.
It's a big job, but
I know, Will. Yeah, but you're up to it.
I'll let you handle
Yes.
it if you care to. Okay. Anyone else like to add anything before I hear a motion to adjourn?
All right,
Okay.
I move we adjourn.
Seconded?
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
All right, that's it.
Aye.
Okay, well, we'll
Bye,
see you
everybody.
folks.
Goodbye,
in
everybody.
March. Bye-bye.
know.
Okay.
Stay well.
Bye.
Thanks, Mia. Thanks, Mia.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Will.